How do we treat methamphetamine addiction as opposed to other drugs of abuse? Well, as I've said, methamphetamine is a very powerful stimulant drug. So maybe we should talk in terms of how it affects the body and how it affects the mind or the person's psychology. And treatment is really separated into those two areas. Physically, a stimulant drug is not the same in withdrawal in the way it's acting on the body as a depressant drug like heroin or alcohol. So the body of the methamphetamine addict, if you like, is going to be in no harm or danger as such when they're in withdrawal from the drug. Especially with young addicts, the body is going to repair very, very quickly, given enough sleep and proper nutrition, etc. So this is the period that we call stabilization. So upon entering treatment, somebody who's got a methamphetamine addiction is going to crash, as we call it, for several days, and allowances are made in the treatment program for that person to rest and eat properly, and sometimes they'll be sleeping for days at a time. Otherwise, if we were to try to do therapy with with a methamphetamine addict, they become very irate, very difficult to deal with, and their body really needs to rest at that point. However, there is another side to methamphetamine addiction which is much more serious, really, which is the psychological withdrawal. So the illness of addiction generally will create cravings, and with a methamphetamine addict, very strong cravings. So for a start, it's probably appropriate and important for a methamphetamine addict to be in inpatient treatment in a residential setting, because their cravings are going to be so strong that having a secure environment where they can't easily go away and get methamphetamine is very important. Secondly, they're going to have lots of psychological issues like depression, feeling extremely agitated, high anxiety and so on. And they may even have the appearance of symptoms of other psychological illnesses that have been hidden by the methamphetamine abuse, like attention deficit disorder, ADD, depression, anxiety and so on. So a lot of methamphetamine abusers started using the drug to cope with the symptoms of those illnesses, and then became addicted, and so also now have the illness of addiction. So in that case, we may be prescribing antidepressants and drugs that are appropriate to ameliorate the effects of psychological problems that are coming up. And then, of course, is group therapy and one-to-one therapy, physical exercise, good nutrition, and all of these things help the psychology of the recovering methamphetamine addict. So common models of counselling that would be used would be the same as with other drugs of abuse, 12 steps, 12-step fellowship, cognitive behavioural therapy, motivational interviewing. All of these models of counselling have a very good evidence base in treating methamphetamine addiction as they do other addictions. So in short, residential treatment setting, period of crashing, sleeping, resting, which we call stabilization, and then an extended period of psychological therapy to help with the illness of addiction itself and co-occurring illnesses which often present in conjunction with addiction, like anxiety, depression, ADD and so on.